It's story time today. As always, no script, no notes, just raw dogging it. Just raw dogging YouTube. And YouTube is ever so grateful. Today's story is one that I can't take credit for this. This isn't my story, my thing that, I pass on to people. I can't remember exactly where I heard it, if I'm completely frank. Through my travels, I heard this story and I was just like, man, that's great. And do you know what? I've told it and shared it along the way ever since. I would say it's probably at least 12 years I've had this story banked. And the reason I like to share it is because it shines a really obvious light on something that I think a lot of us put to one side, or we think we're better than the system. We think we can break human nature and the way that we're supposed to do things. So join me as I drink my espresso and share such a story. So this story, I'm going to call it the Axeman. So I want you to picture, by the way, the fridge freezer in my office is making all sorts of weird noises today. So if it interrupts my most epic storytelling, you know what's going on in the background. It's nothing weird. So I need you to picture we're at somewhere remote. It's the middle of nowhere. And it's a facility where wood gets chopped. I don't know the technical terms, so don't butcher me in the comments, for this. But basically, there's this beautiful place that's been operating for over 100 years. And they specialize in chopping wood. And a new guy starts. Wow, is this new guy full of beans? Is he full of energy and glee and excitement? And he's got a competitive streak. He's got that fire in his belly, when he's walking on site for the first time, where he's like eyeing up other guys, thinking, I can probably do a better job than you. And as he's getting inducted into the business, and shown around the place properly for the first time, the owner is showing him where all the awards are given out and have been given out over the last 100 years. And there's one name that, keeps cropping up time and time again over the last 25, 30 years. And these awards have been given to this other guy for chopping the most amount of wood in a day, in a week, in a month, and across a full year. And the new guy looks at those awards and thinks, those are going to be mine. I'm the new kid on the block. I've got youth, I've got strength, I've got power. I am the full package. So the guy gets to work. And whilst he's on his first, sort of work shift, he's looking around for the other guy. He's looking around for this guy that's got all the awards currently. And he's watching him. And this new guy's going for it, by the way. He ain't holding back. He's like going full throttle. He's there to make a bit of noise and prove a point that he's the big dick on site. Do you know what I mean? You've met one of these guys, I can guarantee it. And he positions himself, and the guys end up making, they position their own stations, and then that usually becomes their spot in this place, right? So he finds his own spot, and he's within sight of this other guy. Much older than him. This guy's like in his early 60s, right? And this other kid is like in his mid-20s, okay? Mid-20s. And he's watching this older bloke. And he notices that every 15, 20 minutes, he's not paying too much attention because he's too busy absolutely slaying these logs and this wood that he's been given. But he notices he disappears every 15 to 20 minutes. But he doesn't take any notice of it. Doesn't take any notice whatsoever. He just thinks, that old guy's weak bladder is screwing his productivity, right? Anyway, he finishes his first day and he's pretty tired because he's been going at it. Anyway, he repeats this same thing day after day for the first week. He doesn't hold up. And he keeps watching this old bloke and he's disappearing every 15 to 20 minutes and he's just laughing, thinking, I've got this in the bag. And they don't declare who's got the most, chopped the most amount of wood until the end of the quarter. Right? So these guys have just got to work blind until they get that feedback. Right? So this guy's showing up every day, every week. Now, I will say, and he sort of admits very, very lightly to himself that after the first month, he is slowing up a little bit. Right? He is slowing up. And he's still got his eye on everyone else, but particularly this 6-year-old bloke who's got all the awards already. And he's just watching. And he laughs every time he goes for a break. And this young kid, he ain't taking no breaks. He just eats while he's working, drinks. If he has to go to the toilet, he literally runs there and back. He is just smoking it. Now, it comes to the end of the quarter. And man, is this guy smug. This young guy is smug as hell. In his mind, he's already won. He's won the quarterly award, he's won the monthly, he's won the weekly, and sure as hell, he's going to have bagged the daily award as well. Who chopped the most amount of wood across that quarter in one day. He's not worried whatsoever. So they sit everybody down. End of the quarter, guys. Let's do the roundup then. Let's see how everybody's done. And one after the other, the older bloke gets every single award. He wins every single prize. He chopped the most in the quarter, in the month, in the week, and he even won the daily award. And I'm not talking just by a small margin. He's absolutely cream crackered everybody else's numbers. Now, the young bloke cannot believe it. He is absolutely mouth open, jaw to the floor, unbelievably taken aback. He's almost that disappointed that he almost protests in this room of bigger, grislier, older blokes than him. But he holds his own and he thinks, I'm going to fucking ask this bloke how he's done it. They cheated the fucking system or what? Or is just his favourite? Because I swear, he was taking breaks. He was taking time away. Couple 2-3 times an hour. And I was just there slogging away every single day. How the fuck has he done it? So they move out of the room because it's time to get back to it. And he goes over to him. And he says, hey. He said, I've never spoken to you before, but I'm the new guy. The guy says, I know. I've seen you working. We're only across from each other, right? He says, yeah. He said, I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but it's going to come out this way, but how the fuck did you beat me? On every single thing. Quarterly, monthly, weekly, and the daily amounts. How did you do it? The older guy smiles. And he says, you were taking a fucking break. He says, I wasn't even taking a break. And the old guy, at this point, breaks out into a light but gentle chuckle. And he says, you think I was taking a break? He says, well, yeah. What were you doing? Were you taking your old bladder for a piss every 15 to 20 minutes? He said, son, every 15 to 20 minutes, I was going and sharpening my axe. Now, the young guy can't believe what he just heard. He wasn't sharpening his axe. He wasn't spending any time through that whole 3-month period. He'd not sharpened his axe once. Not once. Whereas the old veteran, who was just swinging away, didn't change his cadence, just hitting the mark every single time, then taking himself off 15, 20 minutes, sharpening and coming back at the same pace. Every single day, day in, day out, week after week, month after month. Here's the lesson. The lesson is, you can't come into a situation and believe that you can just go at something 200 miles an hour every single day and not even take a breath to sharpen your axe. Because all that's going to happen is that relentless high speed push is just going to blunt the instrument that you're using to attempt to get to where you want to be. Every single time, regardless of what you're trying to achieve. It's so vitally important that you sharpen your tool, whether it's your mind, whether it's your body, whether it's a combination of both, whether it's the people that work for you or the people that you work with. In order for that implement, that tool, to cut through and achieve what you want it to achieve, it has to be sharp. It just has to be. Otherwise, you're trying to break through rock with, I don't know what the most useless fucking thing is on my bloody table right now, with a leather wallet. How long is that going to take me? A long fucking time. Or the stand for my camera. What fucking use is that going to be? Absolutely nothing. Well, it might be for the first fucking day, but then it's going to be broken and busted up thereafter. And it's the same for you. It's the same for the human. Same whether you're in business, whether you've got a career, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your self-growth. You have to take the time and space, whatever it means to you and your situation, to sharpen that axe. Because as soon as that surface begins to get blunt and dull, you've lost the game. And this is where people get burnt out, tired, overwhelmed. Because the precision and the consistency that they're supposed to have with something just fades. And when fear kicks in and overwhelm kicks in, then you just start trying to do more, faster. But the instrument's dull at this point. So it's not getting through, it's not cutting. You're just sloppily going at something. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So take a leaf out of the veteran axeman's book. Take your time where you need to. Be consistent, be precise with your strikes. And please make sure that you take the time to sharpen your axe. See you soon.